is Ashley Wagner, and this is the making of my long program for Olympic season.
So, what was your inspiration?
I wanted something that was positive, lighter, and this is my Olympic season, and I want to be able to enjoy every second of it. I had no idea what the music was going to be, and then I was sitting in the movie theater watching La La Land, and as soon as Emma Stone was singing Audition, I texted Shay from the movie theater and I was like, I found my Olympic long, this is what we're doing, listen to the music, talk to you soon, bye.
Hello, I'm Shae-Lynn Bourne, and I'm the choreographer for Ashley Wagner. I actually got a call from Ashley. It was before the World Championships. She had just gone to see La La Land. I think she was either at the theater or maybe leaving the theater, and I got this call. I know my music for the Olympic year, so that's sort of the moment.
I had so many people tweeting at me to check out this music that it kind of got in my head a little bit, and then I went and I saw the movie, and it was just one of those things where I got goosebumps, and I just knew that this was it. This was my piece of music. I knew that 10 million people are going to pick it and they're going to skate to it, but I think at the end of the day, if you do the best version of something, then what's there to lose? This process has kind of been a 2-year process. I think for me, my main strength as a skater is that I'm a performer and a storyteller. I've been consistently kind of taking pieces of music that tell stories and take a character, and I've been portraying that for, the last 5 years of my career, I feel. So last year, when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to skate to, I knew I had to mix it up so that way when I came into my Olympic season, whatever I chose to skate to was going to be fresh, and if I could tell a story, then people were going to kind of remember that this is my strength and I'm coming back to this, and they wouldn't just be overwhelmed by story after story after story. And I feel like that kind of helps make a character more believable. I needed something that was going to kind of take people away from Moulin Rouge, and so for me that's kind of what Muse was. It was definitely not my normal forte. From Muse, that's when I felt like I could kind of get back into telling a story and going back to my roots and what I'm really good at.
She was sort of in and out, starting to, I'd almost say, not sure if she'd use it as we got closer to the reality of it happening. And I sort of reminded her to think back the feeling she had when she first wanted it. So that, because with Ashley, with all skaters, you have to love what you're skating to. And I think when she did that and she heard the music with the edit that I created along with the music man, Hugo, she really fell back in love with it, and it confirmed her gut instinct the first time. She's always very clear with the message that she wants to give and share with her audience. Music is the biggest, I'd say, obstacle really of choreography, because you have to have the right music for the right skater. It needs to be perfect for them, and they have to love it. That's the big thing. And then the editing, I'm lucky because my husband does most of my editing actually, and he's right there at home, so I can play with ideas, and he understands music very well. And I also use Hugo Chouinard for music, and with this particular piece I had Hugo for La La Land, and it's complex because you want the overall story to be told. So I think it's really, what story do you want to tell first, and then you support that with the music that can create that story. So I think that was the biggest thing, and discussing that with Ashley, what she wants to say. So breaking that down and figuring that out made it a lot easier for me to kind of sort out what music. And then with the music editor, it's always just back and forth and listening to their suggestions and my suggestions together. We collaborate, basically. It's a teamwork. It's teamwork, and it's a beautiful process, but that can be a very intense process, because once you get that right, it's like smooth sailing in a way, because that's really the hardest part.
I had kind of two roads that I could go down. I really fell in love with the epilogue piece, where it's just kind of running through the life that they could have had, and it's this beautiful orchestrated piece of music. And I had the option of just kind of sticking with that, but it's a 7-minute long piece of music, and we would have to literally obliterate it and chop it to a million pieces to make it into a 4-minute program. But I knew I also wanted to tell a story, and when you have lyrics, it makes it so obvious, like, this is the story I'm telling to you, this is how I'm feeling, this is how you guys should feel too. So I knew that I wanted to get some lyrics in there, and I just felt like Audition was the one piece of music that I just kept on coming back to, because it's this moment where everything is so raw, and she's just telling a story, and that's literally the whole point of this program for me.
And emboldened to listen, here's to the ones who dream, who wish as they see.
So I told Shae I wanted Audition, and after that I didn't care what she did. And she worked her magic. She asked me if I wanted to kind of include the main theme in there, and so we kind of wove that into the beginning. And then originally the cut went back into someone in the crowd, I believe, and I just didn't like how it ended, so we kind of went back to, I think it's a piece from either Epilogue or something else, but it's this really big, dramatic, like Hollywood movie finish. And so that was kind of what ended up shaping this program, because I wanted it to be really dramatic. I didn't want it to feel juvenile, and it needed to be fit for an Olympic long program. So that's kind of how all these cuts came together.
I do a lot of prep in advance. I need to be with the music myself for a while, and I've had time to listen to it. So a lot of it is just me getting a sense of how it feels, and then how that would relate to her. It has to be in my blood, basically, the music. There's a strategic part to the choreography, because you have to know exactly where the elements need to be in advance. So I already have a layout, basically, or a rough idea of what it needs to be, and that's along with the coach, the skater. You kind of have to work together to make sure she can breathe right, that she's getting the points, that the jumps are happening where they need to jump.
Shae is the kind of choreographer that you can work on 5 seconds of a program for 2.5 hours, or something will just happen within, with the first go. My opening position took us maybe 2 minutes to figure out, and I had a section after the triple flip, triple toe that took us 2.5 hours, and it was literally 3 steps. But that's because she will try so many variations until she thinks she finds the perfect thing that looks great on you. I feel like the thing that's special about Shae is you look at her programs, and I mean, obviously you see the style and the flair that Shae-Lynn brings to the ice, but it's not always recognizable as a Shae-Lynn program, because she really caters to what you're good at, and the movements look good on you, whereas sometimes I feel like people get super stylized by a particular choreographer. I think that she really caters to the individual.
It's like you have a blank canvas, really, and it's really just being trusting that voice inside and listening to it when the music comes. And how I move, I may do something and have an idea for her, but how it looks on her isn't the same. So it's finding what suits her and her body and her movement and her voice. So it's shifting constantly because I want it to be the best on her. So and it can be slow and it can be a fast process. It's always changes like a wave, but it's a beautiful thing. And when we started the first day, it's a great feeling when you get that. You just feel like, yeah, that's it. That's the opening, And when you get the ball rolling and it feels good, it's like you just know, okay, this is gonna be great. I know I have a lot more work to do, but I know it's gonna work because you got the taste for it.
Usually when we are coming up with something on the ice, I will tell her what I want to feel or the general theme I want to go with, and she takes my ideas and brings them into physical movement. I am not that creative of a person, so basically we'll just go over a section a couple of times and she'll give me variations of something, and then if it just doesn't feel right to me, I'll speak up. But I think that's the great part about being at this point in my career as an adult. We're collaborating, and I mean, she's really doing most of the creating, but at the same time, I kind of can direct it to where I think it needs to go.
For her, I think it's really important to have a real meaning, a real story to what she's doing, for her to give the most of herself. It can't just be beautiful choreography. There has to be something behind it. And if she can believe in it and be honest with it, then it gives you those goosebumps. She's that type of skater that makes people feel something in themselves. So it's a real treat to work with her.
God bless Lisa. I usually come to her in a panic, and I'm like, I didn't realize this, but I needed a costume like a month ago, and can you make it by tomorrow? And so for me, I usually get on Pinterest and I go through a bunch of designers and see what they kind of put out on the runway this season and the different shapes and necklines and things like that. I think that this year the process is going to be a little more streamlined. I am probably going to look at what Emma was wearing in the movie. I don't know if I want to recreate an exact look or if I just want to have something that's a little bit more casual or something that kind of pays homage to old Hollywood glamour. We'll see. But usually I send her a bunch of pictures of dresses that I have in mind, and she'll take my favorite things from everything and kind of Frankenstein this idea and put together my ideas into this beautiful dress. And then I just let her do what she has to do, and it's always stunning. I think for me, La La Land will end up really being a piece of music that I can identify with strongly. I think for me it's always important that I choose pieces of music that I believe in and I can really feel.
When we're developing the program, I already see where it's going to be when the Olympics comes. Because it doesn't happen overnight, it's a process. We'll come back together and I will make it more intricate, more when she's ready for that. But I do know it's going to make people stand if she gets the elements and she executes it. All those elements clean. It'll be one of those stand-up performances.
In my career, I'm not the most talented athlete. I'm not technically the best jumper, the fastest spinner. I'm not the prettiest skater, and I've had so many people tell me that I don't deserve this or I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't have made it this far, but this was my dream. The actual lyrics, you know, now I'm forgetting the lyrics, but here's to the ones who dream. It's kind of like me, just my way of, you know, telling everybody, this is, if you believe in something and you're passionate about it and you're crazy and you're foolish, never stop being crazy and foolish, because I'm here today going after my second Olympics. because I didn't listen to everybody telling me no. And I am so excited for this to be my Olympic long program, because I think that it'll be a great way to show everybody that this is what I really love to do.